Hi there, year one, and now we're going to go on to our daily maths lesson. So today you're going to be looking at finding out how to tell the time to the nearest hour and to the half past. But before we start, we're also going to do an arithmetic starter linked to data subtraction or take away. And to do that, you're going to need number beads or a ruler or a 100 square or anything you can use for counting. You're also going to need a whiteboard and a piece of paper to write the answers on throughout the lesson. And then optional, if your parents have got a broken clock around the school or a clock face, you could move the hands. You might have a toy clock. But ask first. Don't want you to be using a clock that did work before you used it. And then finally, you need some kind of electronic device to access the online telling the time app if you choose to do that. Okay, so if you're ready, we're going to move on to the arithmetic starter. So today we're looking at subtraction. Now I'm going to go through the different methods that you could use to find subtraction, starting with the first question. So the most obvious thing you could do is use your hand. So if you hold up your hand, you've got 5 fingers, and count off 4. 1, put them down each time, 2, 3, 4, and you've got one thumb or one finger left standing. So the answer to that would be 1. But you also could use beads. Count out 5 beads, count back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 1 bead left. Or you could go onto a ruler, find the number 5 and count back 4. So the first jump from 5 to 4, 1, from 4 to 3, 2, from 3 to 2, 1, 3, and then the last one from 2 to 1, 4. So that is for your 4 jumps and the answer is 1. Okay, so, and finally, of course, you could use counters or something similar. Put out 5, take away 4, and the answer is going to be 1. Okay, grown-ups, if you want to pause this, just remember your child can either have a go one question at a time or have a go at the whole lot and give them 5 to 10 minutes to do that. It's up to you. Welcome back, year one. So we're going to go through the answers now. 5 minus 4, we've already established is 1. Now 9 minus 6, best way probably is on fingers. Count out 9 fingers. Count back 6 and you're left with an answer of 3. Now for 12 minus 8, probably you're going to need a ruler or number bead. Either way, you'd start off with 12, count back 8 until you're left with 4. Now the next one you might know, when we take the same number away from itself, the answer is always 0. But you could do that easily using number beads. Remember, either of the colours is a set of 10. Then moving on to the next group, 15 minus 7. Well, 15 minus 7, you're probably going to want to use beads. Count out 15, count back, take away 7, leaves you with 8. And you could do the same for 18 minus 15, or you could use a ruler. You'd be left with 3. Now, the usual question, it doesn't matter which way the sums are around. You're still doing 7 take away 6. So if you had 7 fingers and you took away 6 of them, you'd be left with 1. And then the same applies if you use your number beads. You know that there are 20 beads, so you don't need to count anything out. You just simply take away 6, leaving you with 14. Now, these next ones are a bit trickier. We're saying 12 take away something equals 8. So you'd need to count out 12 beads, or you'd need to find 12 on the ruler or a number square, and then you would count back the number of jumps until you reach 8. So 12 to 11 is 1 jump, 11 to 10 is 2 jumps, 10 to 9 is 3 jumps, and 9 to 8 is 4 jumps. So the answer is going to be 4. Now you can use that answer to solve the next problem, which is 12 minus something equals 4. Because of the commutative law, we know that the third number must be 8. And now 15 take away something equals 9. So you could use your number beads again, count out 15, count back to 9, and you'd be left with 6. And again, the commutative law, which we practiced last week, would tell you that the missing number here must be 9. Then we've got 18 minus something equals 6. So start with 18, you count back until you've had only 6 left, and you'd find that you've counted 12 back. And then commutative law again, 18 minus 6 equals 12. Now these last two are really tricky. You really have to do a trial and improve. So you could say, for a start off with, 12 take away 10 equals, does it equal 5? No, so it's need a bigger number. Maybe 13 minus 10, but that equals 3. So what about 15 take away 10? Yeah, that does work. So it's 15 minus 10. And then this last one, again, you could use the same rule, or alternatively, you could use the commutative law. And we know that another sum you could have from this is 10 plus 15 equals 25. And you could use that to know that 25 minus 15 equals 10. So well done, year one. We're now going to move on to the main part of the learning. Okay, so here is an example clock. Now, what I want you to do, until you've grown up, what three things mean. We want to first explain what we think the numbers are for. You remember, you will have done this in reception. The second thing, you need to identify which is the hour hand and what it does. And finally, which is the minute hand. So, if grown-ups, you'd like to pause the video for a moment, and when you're ready, I'll go through the answers. Okay, so first up, what do the numbers mean? Well, the numbers mean what hour it is, what o'clock it is. So here the hour hand is pointing to the 2, so it's getting close to 2 o'clock. Now, the second question is, which is the hour hand? Well, the hour hand is blue, and in all our work today, we're going to be making sure that the hour hand is blue if you work with the sheets. If you work online, you'll have to rely on the shorter and longer. Okay, it's also the shorter hand, and that's the hour hand. That goes round from 2 to 3 in 1 whole hour, which is the time we usually spend on a maths lesson in school. So, if the blue is the hour hand, the red, the long hand, must be the minute hand. Now this goes a little bit quicker, and this goes round the whole clock in 1 hour. Whole clock in 1 maths lesson. Okay, so what we're going to do now is have a look at what time it is, looking only at 1/2 and o'clock. Now when the big hand, which is this one, points to the 12, we say that's o'clock. So we then need to look at where the hour hand is pointing to. So in this case, we would say it's 2 o'clock. Okay, so now I want you to have a go at telling your grown-up what this one is. That's right. It's 3 o'clock. And what about this one? That's right, this time it is 5 o'clock. And one more. What's it pointing to? The small hand is pointing to the 7, so it's 7 o'clock. And now we're going to do something a bit different. When it points to the bottom, when it points to the 6, we say that that is 1/2. So this is 1/2. And what number has it gone past? Is it past the 7 or past the 8? That's right. So we say it is 7:30. Have a go at this one yourself. That's right. It's 1/2. And it's gone past the 9, so it's 9:30. What about this one now? Half past, and it's gone past the 6, so it's 6:30. Now we're going to do a couple that are mixed, okay? So just watch. What time is it now? Well, it's pointing up, it's pointing to the 12, so we say that that's o'clock, and it's pointing exactly to the 8, so it's 8 o'clock. What about this one? Tricky one, but I'm sure you can do it. It's pointing down this time, so that's the 1/2. And it's gone past the 5. It's gone past the 5, so it's 5:30. Okay, so there are 2 choices today. One is to draw on this sheet, and adults, I'd really recommend you do this if you can print it, because it's going to be very hard otherwise, and work out what the answers are. Or alternatively, you can go onto the online app that I'm going to show you in a moment and have a go at using that. And that app runs on both tablets and also on PCs and laptops. Okay, so looking at this first question, we've got the hour hand. The hour hand is pointing upwards. So the hour hand points upwards. So we know that's o'clock, and it's pointing to the 1, 2, 3. So the time would be 3 o'clock. On the second section, you're being asked to draw the hour hand. You're being asked to draw the time, and these are limited to o'clocks. So if we were to draw it, we're going to draw the hour hand in red. So we'll do that first. And it's 1 o'clock. We'll try to keep it a bit shorter than the other one. And then we're going to draw the hour hand in blue. And where does the hour hand have to point to? That's right, it needs to point up. So we draw that to there. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what that section is about. If you want to do the more challenging questions, including her past, then that's the second sheet, or you can do both sheets. And finally, grown-ups, if you want to, or your child wants to write a time, either her past or o'clock at the bottom, and then draw the time, they can do that. And it doesn't matter if you haven't got a red and blue pen. It really doesn't matter what colours you use. Just try to make sure that the long hand is the hour hand, is the minute hand, and the short hand is the hour hand. Okay? And if you choose instead to use the app, this is how the app works. You click on play. Click on play again. Choose whether you want to do the hour or read the hour and half hour. And then it's up to you whether you set it's a time game or an untimed game. I'm just going to start it quickly. So, first question has got it's hour past, which we write as 30, and then the hour hand is pointing to the 8, so it's going to be 8:30. The next one, again, we say is 30 at the bottom, so it's going to be 12:30. Next one, it's half past 4, which we would say is 4:30. So it just carries on like that. I was hoping we'd get an hour at 6 o'clock, but apparently it's not going to do that. So feel free to have a go at that. The link's there, but otherwise have a go at the sheets. Good luck, everyone, and I look forward to hearing from you or teaching you again tomorrow. All right.